All right, so we're here back with Alex Pascual, one of my clients and a good friend from back in middle school. Actually, no, before that, we used to play baseball at the academy before that. But we talked about his closing, and we recorded some of that in the West Miami vlog. His house actually was in Westchester. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the sales cycle and the steps. And since his deal solved basically everything from start to finish, I kind of walk you through the process and walk you through some of the things that happened during his sale, so that we can tell people about how we navigated the issues and still obtained a very, very nice sum of money above what he anticipated we were going to get. Start off with Alex. How did you come to find me or use me for this particular transaction?
I think when we first spoke, I wasn't even really thinking of selling my house at that moment. I kind of just reached out to you because as you know, I've known you for a long time and I know you're in real estate and everything, but what really struck me was the video that you posted of our good friend Andy Rodriguez.
That's what it was.
You sold his house and I said, wait a minute, let me reach out to Vic because I haven't really thought about this whole thing. I know we were thinking of selling the house eventually, so I kind of reached out to you and I said, hey, look, I'm looking at selling my house sometime in the summer. I plan on moving into my new house probably around June, July. What do you recommend? And you guided me right there and you said, Alex, let's jump on this right away. There's no need to wait. The market is prime at this moment, and I took your lead and we ran with it, and I'm sure the way everything went, I'm very happy.
Yeah, so one of the big things I talk about is market cycles, and supply and demand happen to be the two biggest driving factors on how you're going to obtain the best possible price at a certain point in time. And at this particular moment when Alex reached out, I had just sold Andy's house for, I think, a crazy amount, a really, really large amount above asking price, close to December. And Andy was planning a cross-country move, and we were able to obtain like 3 months of free rent, kept him in his house, got a crazy cash offer above ask price, and Andy was thrilled, was able to move to North Carolina with his boys and his family and transition up there. And so that's funny, that's how you found that till you realized to use me, because like I said, I've been practicing law. Everybody knows I've been practicing law for 12 years, and this has been my side gig, but I haven't really told many people about it up until recently that I'm making this shift. But I'm glad you reached out and you listened, and you couldn't have come out at a better time. So Alex's house, the first thing we do in the process is we value it. So we valued it. I gave him pricing recommendations based on comparable sales, and I knew his house was going to sell more than what the market had to offer at the time, just because there was nothing there. There wasn't competition. So I told him, hey, pick a number between this range, and we eventually ended up with $675 as the price to go out. And then, what I do is I drop a teaser on the house on Tuesday. I kind of show it to some VIPs and get some people early access on Wednesdays before we actually go live, that are, my personal clients, before it goes to the MLS. And I think we had shown it to 3 of our personal clients right before, to give them an opportunity and early access to see it. And then on Thursday, with my marketing plan, we went to market on the MLS, dropped the full video, and I can tell you we had a line out the door when we finally had I would say, I don't know if we did an open house the first time, but I think we had private showings lined up. We had a bunch of showings on Friday, and that Saturday, I think in total over Friday and Saturday, and I think I even showed some people on Sunday the house because you guys were out. I think we had over 30 some showings and over 15 offers on your home, most of which were above asking price. Eventually, you can tell people what was the first one that we actually went with after that first weekend.
That weekend, I remember my wife was out of town, so Victor's like, look, your wife's out of town, let's really just push everything for the weekend. We don't want to disrupt your family and make it uncomfortable, with us having to leave the house to show it. So we planned everything on the weekend. Like you said, it was at least 30 different, families that came by to see the house. And I think we had multiple offers, but the first one was a very, very, I think it was almost about 50 over asking.
Yep,
cash
right
offer right away, and so, that's the one we went with to start off with.
So we moved forward with that group. It was actually a a very wealthy billionaire who lives in a private island here in Miami, buying it for his cleaning lady or his nanny. And she was thrilled, wanted the house. We went into the diligence period and the inspections. And sure enough, after the inspection transpired, actually before that, this gentleman was a little offended that I go, man, we got a crazy cash offer. And I asked this guy, I go, hey, show me proof of funds, you know? I don't care who you are. And that guy got on the phone with me, got all pissed off. And, you know, we eventually got his banker to send me a letter that he was good for it. But I don't trust anybody. So in any event, we went under contract, and this guy, you know, had his inspector come out. They inspected the home, and after the inspections, they pulled their offer. They said, hey, you know, we're not interested in the home. Didn't give us any reasons. But so we said, hey, look, perfect, Alex, we have this option. We have all these other backup offers, or I see a ton of demand. Let's show it one more time. Let's open it up to the public and let everyone outbid themselves one more time. And that's what we did. So we had another, same thing. We didn't want to disturb his wife's pregnant, and we didn't want to disturb his youngest daughter to have a bunch of people through the house. So we did the same procedure. We opened it up the following weekend after the inspection period was lapsed, and they told us we were gone. And we had pretty much the same traction, if not better, the following weekend. And we had our, you know, pick of the litter to go after. And I decided to go with another gentleman who was actually a broker in town, wanted the house for himself and his fiance, and said, hey man, you know, when we first spoke, he's like, hey, would you be willing, you know, to go with a $700,000 cash offer? I said, sure, absolutely. So we went forward with him, and I believe he decided during that process, hey Vic, would you mind if I finance the offer? I said, hey, absolutely, no problem. You want to finance it? That's your problem, as long as you give us a sizable deposit. So, you know, we put the deposit structure, you know, we made it a rather heavy deposit structure, and I think it was like 20 up front, and then another 20 right after the inspection period closed, and he was good with it. So, you know, we got the heavy deposits in. He was locked in, inspected the house. You know, his inspector found that the roof had some issues. We knew the flat roofs were a little old and needed to be repaired. So we said, sure, you know, let's, instead of having to go back to market and, you know, be pigs, we said, hey, let's be reasonable. Gave this gentleman a credit and said, look, you know, let's move forward. Let's close this deal. So we gave him a small credit. So instead of $700,000, we ended up at $690, is what Alex was good with. I had told him, hey, you know, anywhere from, you know, 685 to 700 is going to be a great offer, a great value on the home, given the conditions that it was in. Like I said, we went to market at 675, 690 was good for all of us. Alex was happy, and we were able to keep him in the house for a period of time while his transition was happening to his new home. He was already building out his new home. And so, lo and behold, this guy just started giving me the Miami story, as we called it, el cuento de Miami. At first it was the cash offer, then it was, no, I want to finance it. Now, yeah, we give him a credit. Then it's like, hey, you know, my lender, my buddy's a lender, you know, I don't like the terms he's giving me. I want to change lenders. I said, no problem, man. You can change all the lenders you want. You know, you're still obligated by the terms of the contract, but, you know, we let him change his lenders, do what he wanted to do. He wanted to extend certain things. I said, look, man, the contract's what the contract says. If you want to extend the loan commitment period, you know, you're going to have to pay us to do so. You're going to have to put more escrow in and guarantee an amount if you can't close by the set date. And this guy was, you know, losing it. Then he got his attorney involved. I had, you know, at the moment he got his attorney involved, because I'm an attorney, I have an ethical obligation. I'm like, yo, I'm sorry, I can't speak to you anymore. You have your attorney there. I got all the conversations now have to go through the attorney. So I hired to not put myself in the middle anymore, because this guy was communicating directly with me. I asked my friends at Title Answers to come in and represent Alex, because we were likely going to have a deposit. I anticipated an issue with the possibility of having to make a claim on the deposit, because this guy all of a sudden was, you know, changing the story, asking for extensions, and, you know, we were already, you know, about a month into the process, and Alex had made his arrangements, everything was moving forward. We agreed to give this guy credit, and now this gentleman wanted to have us extend his loan commitment period all the way up until the date of closing, which for those of you who don't know, will allow someone to back out and get their full deposit back if they don't qualify for the loan. And, you know, lo and behold, as we figure everything out and talking to the attorneys, and this guy's giving me all this, you know, Miami Cuento, as we call it, the story. This guy was buying houses saying they were his primary, and got red flagged by not just one but multiple lenders regarding using his primary, and it wasn't really his primary. They were for rental properties and other properties. So this guy got flagged, wasn't able to get the rates that he was being promised, or he thought he was going to get for the real primaries, and having to put way more down. And we caught him, I'd say, with his pants down to a certain extent. And so lo and behold, the day came, he was like, hey, I don't want to go back to market and let this guy close. If I'm him, I pony up, I get the money, and I close with private money. But he decided not to do that, and played hardball with his attorney, and Alex retained counsel, and he listened to us and said, hey man, Vic, I trust you, I trust your team. We saw what we saw it, and in order to avoid litigation, the other side decided to render and give us a very good chunk of the deposit for us not to do what we were prepared to do. And we lost about a month of time there. We lost 10 days in the beginning with that one, and so we had to go back to market again.
Yep, it was very unfortunate. We wanted to close with him. Me and my wife felt very good about him and his fiance, but unfortunately things just didn't work out for one reason or the other, and I followed Vic's lead, and we had to go back to market.
Yeah, it was something that I know I know Alex at this point is getting concerned, like, man, Vic, this is twice, not once but twice. This is the second person that pulls. I'm like, hey man, I promise you, market conditions were still good. So lo and behold, hey, we went back to market again. So rather than secure a backup offer, which there was plenty of, the market was still ripe. There still wasn't demand. There was still a ton of demand. I knew the demand was there, but things in the area just, they were there. We were perfectly priced, and every time we went back to market, we saw a ton of activity and a ton of offers. So third time's a charm, right? We'll go back to market.
Yep.
And we get people outbidding themselves. I handle it like a commercial transaction. I let everyone know, hey, you're in a multiple offer scenario. Get me your best offer by this date. And the people we just closed with went above and beyond. There's a couple moving from California that added what we call an escalation clause.
Yep.
So they basically decided they were going to beat every other offer that came in by $5,000. And so that's what actually took the cake. So for you agents out there that need a tip or trick on how to win deals, adding an escalation clause is not a bad move. If you need any more technical help, shoot me a message in the comments, and I can always help you and guide you regarding how to structure these and where to add these things and how to do it properly. So in any event, this escalation clause is what takes the cake. This other agent, who is their agent, it's excellent to work with, Mr. Gonzalez, fantastic agent, George Gonzalez. After having gone through what we went through, I told George, man, I really don't want to have to take someone else's deposit. Please make sure your client's legitimate, and we're going to move forward with this. He's like, yeah, they're serious, Vic. They want it. They fell in love with the house. I said, all right, let's go into escrow. So they come in, we share the prior inspection report or whatever we have from the other people to facilitate it. If I've got something, I got nothing to hide. I think being as honest as you can in this business nets the best results. And in this case, Mr. Gonzalez's clients came in. I think the number was at 715.
Yeah.
So 715 is the number that takes a day, because someone else had come into 710 and they beat it with their escalation clause. So our counter back to them was 715, and they were going to close rather quickly, and we timed it, perfectly to coincide with Alex's renovations and his new home. So what you saw on the prior video was the closing that occurred at Title Answers, with closing on his purchase as well as his other one. That's what I've told everyone these days who, in this tight market, I told them, hey, let's find your new property first, and then trust that I can move the second one very quickly, because it's a lot harder right now to find properties in Miami than it is to sell them, just because of the sheer demands. I think the market's shifting right now.
Yep.
We're shooting this now in June of 2022, and things are shifting. Rates are going up. The Fed is causing rates to go up, and it's going to price certain people from being able to afford more of a mortgage. But that's neither here nor there. I think things are still going to come up. But again, this whole transaction basically, for me, showed me that knowing what you're doing and getting proper contract negotiations is what's gonna net you the best results, okay? And it's gonna protect you in the event that someone tries to do what we call, Miami Cuento. There's always gonna be someone, trying to make offers that weren't really gonna close. And I've had those in other deals too, where, you have someone make a crazy high offer, but it's not backed with anything, it's not with teeth. So the whole point that they sent it to you was to try and renegotiate and bring you down. But by marketing the property right and having significant backup offers, you can avoid that. And you're not gonna get people playing with you when it comes down to, renegotiating at the inspection period. This is a quick little tip for those of you that are selling your homes or agents who are informing your clients about things that stay and things that go. Here's a quick rule of thumb. Things that are screwed into the wall or are hanging, what are they?
They stay. They're fixtures.
And Alex can tell you how. How does he know about this? Alex, was moving, getting everything together, and had no idea. And we're at the walkthrough, and he's like, Vic. I'm like, he's like, I took the nest. I'm like, yeah. No, you didn't take the nest. He's like, yeah, I took the nest. I'm like, oh my God, here we are. I go, I'm gonna get you a new nest. He's like,
I replaced it.
we replaced the nest. We gave the lady her nest back. Alex got a new nest. But rule of thumb, if it's screwed into the wall, it stays. Again, Alex trusted me throughout the process. We netted him an extra 50 grand at the end of the day. And I think the results spoke for themselves. Anything else, significant about the transaction that you thought was interesting, troublesome, or that was concerning that, we didn't go over?
No, you went over a lot of it, but the main thing that you touched on was trust. I know my wife Stephanie and I, we trusted you throughout the entire way. Even when things looked bad and we had to go back to market for a third time, we were like, man, like, are we losing out? Are we losing out on potential sale? Are we gonna have to drop the price? And Victor assured me, he said, no, we're not. We're still in a favorable market. You're gonna get what you need to, I know you're renovating your house, and I was relying on this money from this sale to help me compensate what I'm actually doing on my new house. So I was relying on a lot, and I kept on talking to him about it. I go, Vic, I need this money sooner or later. And he said, don't worry, I got you. And
if I tell you not to worry, it's not to worry. I saw the new house last night, and let me tell you, it looks awesome. So I'm glad the money was well spent.
Yes, it was.
And that you trusted us in the process, because at the end of the day, I've known Alex for a long time. Most of you across the camera don't, and hopefully this will help you get to know me a little bit better. But I at heart, I want to help people. And if you're my client, I'm gonna go to bat for you. Another baseball team friend just reached out to me about his, and if you'll see this maybe later, but the Encanto house in West Miami that we just shot was for another guy on the baseball team, and he just did damn good too. I mean, I can't say the number yet because we're still during that diligence period, but let's just say the demand and the bidding war that we started because of the strategic pricing was fantastic, and he is very happy with the net number that we're under contract for right now. We're heading into inspection. I think they're actually probably happening right now. If you're looking to make a move here in Miami, feel free to give us a call, drop something in the comments, shoot us an email, shoot us a text, give me a call, and I'm happy to help you guys just the same way I helped Alex. We can give you a free complimentary evaluation and pricing, and talk to you about how our tactical marketing sets you apart from the rest. All right. Thanks again for joining us. I appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, man. Always.